My name is Kai Lakhtar and I have the pleasure of leading our investment management consulting practice. This is the first in a series of videos on operating model transformation. Today, we face a challenging macroeconomic outlook and ongoing market volatility. This is presenting both investment and operational challenges to investment managers, leading to new investment strategies, increased competition, heightened regulatory scrutiny, and cost pressures. All of this means that investment management organizations will need to adapt their strategies, their operating models, and their capabilities to ensure that they are more fit for purpose for this new reality. Joining us today are my partners, Valkany and Michelle. Welcome.
Hi, thanks.
What drives an organization to change its operating model?
I would say, given some of the trends that you just mentioned, some drivers we've seen in the market for operating model transformation include a need to simplify and standardize across organizational silos to reduce complexity, costs, and also increased efficiency. There's also a need to be more digital and data-driven. This helps organizations to better respond and scale to new investment strategies, such as the growth in private investments, active investing, new geographies, and also importantly, to enable a total fund view. Now, businesses also need to be more agile to better navigate the complex and challenging market conditions. One example include the increased regulatory scrutiny, taking ESG, for example. There's also the innovative and emerging technologies such as generative AI that we talk about, and overall cost pressures as organizations continue to seek a better path to efficiency.
Yeah, you've covered quite a few themes there, and we'll be diving into some of those in some of our upcoming videos. But Michelle, if I ask you how does an operating model transformation enable the strategic objective?
Yeah, we find sometimes that organizations execute on their strategic plans and then they change one aspect of their operating model, but they face challenges because they've neglected those other aspects. So for example, they might make a change in process, but they fail to look at the employee roles or the organization structure, and then the process doesn't work seamlessly. Or they might fail to sustain the changes that they make because the supporting technology just isn't in place. So if organizations really want to get the benefits such as process optimization, cost efficiency, access to data to create insights, engaged employees, and better investment outcomes, and in a market where they need to be able to respond to dynamic market situations, they really have to take an end-to-end view of their operating model.
Yeah. So a lot of things for companies to think about there. When it comes to supports in being successful in that execution, Michelle, how would you advise clients to think about that?
So transformations are not easy, and organizations have a lot to consider when they undertake one. However, there's a lot to be gained from lessons learned from both the successful and the failed transformations that have been undertaken by their peers, and I really encourage organizations to look at those.
Agreed, Michelle, and I think that's why organizations have support from partners that are experienced going through similar transformations to both be able to de-risk and also accelerate the effort. Now, practically speaking, the organizations will need a few things, starting with a clear strategic vision to guide the transformation. Proven frameworks is important when it comes to operating model design, organizational design, and also transition planning to cover these different elements to avoid some of the pitfalls as we spoke of earlier. Now, I will also say a robust change management strategy, along with strong leadership support, enabled by strong program management, will be very critical as well.
Yeah. Well, we surfaced quite a number of important themes. Looking forward to diving into those in our upcoming videos. But for today, this is the end of our session. So, Valkany, Michelle, thank you for joining me. Today, we discussed the importance of a well-designed operating model. Please join us next time as we dive into building future-proof technology solutions, where we talk about key industry trends and how organizations can leverage cloud technologies and data. See you next time.